morning lovies, and today I'm going to be making toad and hull for dinner, and I thought since I haven't done a Yorkshire pudding recipe video I'd do one today. So let's have a look at the ingredients. We will need excuse me, 4 ounces of plain flour, not self-raising, plain. In there's a good pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, and all I'm going to do is just mix this round and make a little well. You will also need 2 eggs and up to half a pint of water. No, this is milk or milk and water mix. If you make it with all water, you can do, but they're a much crisper Yorkshire pudding. So come down and follow what we do. So I'm just going to crack both the eggs into the bowl, and then I'm going to break them up and give them a little whisk round, and I'm gradually going to pour in the milk. Now, I've never made Yorkshire puddings using an electric whisk or a processor. I'm absolutely certain you can, but I'm of the view if it's not broken, it doesn't need fixing. So there we go, we're coming together, and just keep gradually adding and whisking the whole time. Whoops, whisk breaking. Right, there's lumps in there. I'm not going to spend all morning beating it to beat out those lumps. It's not necessary. Okay, so what you want is, as you can see, it's falling off. It's kind of like a double cream before it's whisked consistency. Okay, that is all there is to it. What you need to do now is to put it into the fridge for as long as possible. The longer it's in the fridge, the better rise you will get. So this is going in the fridge, and we shall come back later to see what's next. To go with today's toad and hull, we're going to have onion gravy. Now, I'm well aware that you can buy onion gravy granules, but I like my onion gravy to have real onion in. So we're going to use the mandolin to slice the onions thinly with. So I'm just going to sit the onion on there so it's nice and safe. Then we will start to slice. Okay, this mandolin, it wasn't the cheapest, but it most definitely wasn't the most expensive, but it works really well and you feel safe when you're using it, let me tell you. She says, that's it. Ah, that will teach me. Do you know what? I didn't check what I was on. What a numpty. Just up and down, and we're slicing now. Right, and that, as you can see, is the root that's left. So let's get this moved. I'll move this out of the way. You can see the onion. There we go. There's only 2 of us, so obviously we don't need huge amounts of onion. But what we do need to do is to get a pan on with some butter melting in it, in which we can start to saute the onions. Right then, I've got the pan on my faithful induction hob, and I'm just going to add a knob of butter. Now, when I say a knob of butter, I couldn't tell you how much it is. You just do it till it looks right. I know that's really not very helpful, but obviously the more you do make your own, the easier it is to know exactly what it is you want. So I'm just going to let that butter melt, and then we shall add the onions. Now what I'll also do is I will add just a spoonful of oil. The oil, because it heats quicker, and the butter for colour and flavour. So a spoonful of oil is also going in. That's a fib penny, it's actually gone in. Right, come down, you can see. Right, just melting, bubbling up nicely. So now I can go in with the onions. All we're going to do is just to let these soften and saute gently. They need to take a long time. The quicker you try and do it, what will happen is the onions will colour, and yes, we want a little bit of colour, but we don't want them brown. So we'll keep doing this and be back to you when we're ready for the next step. Okay then, as you can see, well, you can if I put you down, the onions have all softened. A couple of them have caught, which I didn't really want, but there you go. So now I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour to make a roux so that we'll have some thickness to our gravy. Now we just mix this in. It looks a bit weird and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be lumpy, it's going to be awful, but it won't be. So we mix it in and we need to cook it for a few minutes, and once that's cooked out I will come back. Right then, it's had its 2 minutes, so now let's add some flavouring in there. So I'm going to add a touch of mixed herbs. That was probably about a teaspoonful. And obviously we need salt and we need pepper. So salt and pepper, and we'll just stir to mix this through. Right, and then we need to add some stock. Now you can use chicken stock, beef stock, pork stock if you have it. If you haven't, obviously you're having toad in the holes, that will be pork sausages. But I've got some vegetable stock here, so I'm just going to add some, a little at a time. And theoretically, I'm just going to turn this up a little, because of the gravy, because of the flour. There you go. We will get a thick stock. Now I've made up a pint of stock. You may need it all, you may not, you may even need a little more, but obviously it depends how many you're making it for. There's just Steve and I, so this should be plenty. Up we go again, and just add it gradually. If you add it all at once, you're going to have to whisk, 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 whisk. Whereas if you do it like this, you'll get the same outcome with much less arm work. Right, can you see what I mean about it thickening? So far we have no artificial additives in here at all. We are just your onions, your oil, your butter, herbs, salt, pepper and vegetable stock. Right, I'm guessing that's probably, no, I'll do some more because I'm going to leave it. Right, that will be enough for now. The other things you can do is add some little extra flavourings. I like to add either balsamic vinegar or Worcestershire sauce, or Worcester sauce if you can't say Worcestershire. Little thing about balsamic, the more expensive the balsamic, the better it will taste, the better flavour it will have. So, you know, if you want to use it for lots of things and you really want to taste the difference, then go for a more expensive balsamic. So I'm going to put, oh, I've got to open this one. I thought Steve had opened it. Darn. Excuse me. There we go. I think I've got it now. She says, hopefully. No, still not. Right, it's not done now. I just give up. Okay, it is done, but it won't open. That's it. Okay, so I'm just going to put, see it's even got a pour of this one, a few drops of balsamic. Balsamic will sweeten it, and the sweet onions are just delicious. It also helps darken the vinegar up a little, the gravy up a little. So we're going to add a little something else to the gravy later that will really darken it up. Okay, and now all you do is you leave that simmering on a low, slow simmer for as long as you want. We're not going to be eating for another few hours, so I will simmer for about an hour, switch it off, and then pop it on again as I start making the toad in a hole. I still have, as you know, some stock here that I can add to it if it starts to evaporate too much. But so far this is onion gravy. So we'll be back when we're almost ready to serve. Right then, we're back and we're preparing dinner. I say we because you're with me. The sausages, I'm hoping I can twist you round, yes, are in there and just slightly browning before I add in the Yorkshire pudding mix to make a toad in a hole. That is my Ninja grill. At the moment I've got it set at 180C. Just before I pour in the batter, I will turn it up to 190, possibly 200, we'll see. On here I have the onion gravy that we made earlier. We'll be having today's dinner with green beans, carrots and peas. So this is the Yorkshire pudding batter that we made earlier. You can see it's quite thick and gloopy. Gloopy's fine. All we need to do now is give it a stir. And let's turn this temperature up. If you were doing this in an oven, it would be 200C. And I'm going to set the time for about 20 minutes. Okay, so let's turn you around again. And yes, you can see. Right, so we're going to pour this in now. And it should start to sizzle, and it is pretty much straight away, especially at those edges. So that is the Yorkshire pudding gone in there on top of the sausages for our toad in the hole. Just put this in the bowl. Right, now I also said to you that this gravy is quite a light colour, and it is, and don't need to tell any fibs. But what I'm going to add is some gravy browning. Now your nan, your mum, your great grandma may have used this way back in the day. It's really good. It's just a colourant, and I'll tell you what's in there if I can see.
Actually, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I don't know what's in there. Oh well, I don't know. All I know is it actually makes the gravy a beautiful colour. So a couple of drops of this, and we'll go from the very pale colour we are now. So put it in and stir. Yeah, there we go, a couple of drops, and we're a much nicer colour. Just stir it through, you know, like when you're mixing paint. Strange analogy to use when I'm cooking. Now, I think that is a pretty good colour. You could go darker if you wanted, but one thing I haven't done with the gravy is taste it. And let's have a little taste, see if it needs anything else. It's going to be hot, so excuse me. Now I know I've made it and you're probably thinking, yeah, of course it is, but actually that doesn't need anything. That is really, really quite nice. So I'm just going to leave this bubbling away just on this little simmer. The Yorkshire pudding, toad in the hole, call it what you will, is doing its own thing. I will put the vegetables on and we'll come back when we are dishing up. Right then, the toad in the hole is just coming up to finishing. We've got 30 seconds. I've got my trivet ready to pop it onto. The gravy has now been moved across to the hob, so I've got room here to dish up. The vegetables are ready, so we will be dishing up any second soon. Can you hear me now? I think that might be a bit better. Right then, over we go, because you can see it as I take it out. Fingers crossed. Right, there we go. I did have to turn it down a bit. Once it had started to rise, I was happy, and I turned it down just slightly. So, there you go. Toad in the hole 4-2. Just pop that there. Right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dish up, and then I will show you everything, including my hand, as soon as we're ready to go. Right then, we are all dished up, and I am just going to pour on some gravy onto both of the meals. You see what I mean about proper onion gravy. There is obviously seasonings plus, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Mustard on the table that we can serve ourselves. So that is quite simply how I make a toad in the hole, a Yorkshire pudding batter, and of course onion gravy. So once again, thank you for watching. I hope you've liked what I've done. If you have done, please like. If you've got anything to say, comment down below. If you really like what we do, please subscribe, and most importantly, if you do subscribe, ding that bell so that you're notified every time I put on a new video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being in the kitchen with Pen.